Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name's Natalie and this is Sew Stitch Sew Nat. You can also find me on Instagram. I'll put the link, I'll display it here. Sew Stitch Sew Nat with the underscores. Hope everyone had a good few days. It's now Thursday the 29th of December. I'm not really going to do any haul. This is a full-on whip parade of all my cross-stitch whips. I do have like one embroidery and one diamond painting, but I won't be showing those. And I have 30 whips to show you today. I do have UFOs, but I'm not going to show those. My plan is to get one of them finished next year, because there's about 3 that are close to a finish. Just need to get it across the line. I have notes. I have all the whips in front of me. Not quite a sofa full, but I think if you put the UFOs in there it might be almost. I've got a few less whips than my last whip parade, but more than my year end whip parade, which had the UFOs in last year. And I've just realised I've not brought those numbers up with me. Apologies if this is a bit choppy today. I've still got the cough, plus you don't need to hear me rustling and opening zips and what have you, so I might jump from one to the next. So these are roughly in chronological order. I think there's a couple where I didn't record the date, but I know which year I started them. But the majority are in order of start date. So number 1 is Joan Elliot Santa, I forgot what it's called again. I will put it on screen. It doesn't say it on the chart. I have to go and find it. And this is stocking for my husband. And I've not stitched on it since you last saw it, and I've just realised I've left the board behind you. So it's all stitched under here apart from the beads and the metallic, and as you see I'm coming back down. Metallic and beads. Still need to make a decision about what I do with this band here, because I stitched it in silver and not gold. Didn't get it finished for this Christmas. I just burnt out on it and I didn't want to stitch at all if that's the only thing I had to stitch on, so I put it down and picked something else up instead. Plus being ill as well, it didn't get much love after that. So that last whip had 13 days spent on it, although I felt like way more than that, but I think it's going to take probably that again to finish it. Number 2 is Victorian Charm by Dimensions. This was a Christmas Day start 2020. And this is where I'm up to. Yeah, it's the dark Ada that's getting me, I think. I think it's 18 count as well. Really love the pattern, but it doesn't always call to me, which is why it's only had 1 day. Trying to suss out different ways of working. As you know, I've got the Lari stand. Lighting and yeah, anyway, frames. This is a Elbows, but it's a sew on one, so it's actually sewn onto the frame. But yeah, I just saw the Crafty Old Man video, and his looks brilliant, and it's like he's got all the clouds in already. I think he's got a bit more of the house done. It did sort of make me think, oh, should I get that out? I'll show you what I got out in the end. But it wasn't, well, I got actually 2 dark fabric things out, and then went to stitch on one, and I was like, I can't make this situation work. And my eldest son had borrowed my phone to chat to his friend, so I couldn't fix it, couldn't make it happen. So I switched to another one. Number 3, which I know I started in 2021, but I didn't record when I started it what I'm stitching it on. Obviously I know all the threads because I did all the call for, but it's Lindy Stitches Merry Merry Needleworker. And I think this is a 32 count platinum by Zweigart, but I'm not entirely sure. And if you've seen my last video, you would have seen this is where it was at last time. I've made quite a bit of progress on this year, and this is at 12 sessions. I shouldn't say days because sometimes I stitch on more than one thing in a day. So that's where I'm up to with that one. I've just suddenly thought, I didn't say, but I will put last year's WIP parade, my first video, some pictures in, and from the half year, depending on when the project started, so I will flash up on screen. That's quite a bit of editing, so yeah. And this is the project I picked up and then put down. It's a paper pattern. I need to scan into my tablet so I can zoom in and do all the things. Which is Cross Stitch Kingdom, Star Wars Darth Vader 2. This is still available on their website as a kit. I changed the fabric. Fabric's meant to be a black, I want to say 14 count. Yeah, so it's a 14 count. But I changed it to a 25 count black Ligana because I want to make it into a cushion for my son. I did have this on a lap stand, like an Elbow-Ease lap stand thing. It's not working for me at all. I did get it on to an 11 by 11 Q snap last night, which I thought was going to work, and then I couldn't get the pattern to, you just can't sit right, so I didn't do anything on it. So this is actually had no progress since the both times you've seen it. I thought I had done some on it, maybe I didn't record it properly. But hopefully get few more stitches in 2023. So WIP number 5 is Hello Sunshine from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I did buy this when it was a sale. Did the first part, that's it, put it down. I wasn't enjoying it, mainly because of the fabric. I'd already done Hello Dear on this fabric and wanted them to match. Check this out really. It's on a Zweigart 18 count Foba, and sometimes the stitches slip underneath. So yeah, it's very much stab and poke. You can't stab, poke and pull. You've got to do one stitch at a time, otherwise it might slip. Just realised I've not got anything behind that. I do have the other 2 trees as well, but I'm not intending to start them until I finish this one. Well, one at a time basically. And I picked this up for one day. It wasn't the UFO pile, it's been pulled out of the UFO pile now. So I just need to make some progress on it. Not calling to me at the minute. Christmas has been calling quite strongly. And I started that on the 28th of May 2021. So number 6 is my Northern Expression Needleworks twisted band sampler with the specialty stitches, and I'm doing this on a 36 count. It must be a linen because it doesn't look like an even weave. Well, that's what I put on there. It's white Zweigart. Oops. With all the call for DMC apart from one that's discontinued. So that's what it looks like. So at the minute it's we're still on the call for the discontinued ones, like a greeny colour. I don't think I've stitched on this any more than my last Flosstube. So that's where that's at. And I started that 3rd of September 2021. So it's gradually getting there. I'm getting used to the higher counts, which is making it more helpful, and getting used to stitching on. This is a clip-on frame, this one. So my hope is that I can get it onto the Lowry stand. I haven't tried it yet without having the extra support bar, but I haven't figured out accessories. And if you didn't guess, part of my haul for Christmas, my husband and my mother-in-law and father-in-law got me a Lowry stand with the long arm extension, but that pretty much wiped out all my Christmas present money. So I will be getting some accessories possibly for my birthday. I haven't quite decided on what yet. So the twisted band sample I had one day, and we are now on to number 7, which is Cross Stitch Nation. Yeah, Cross Stitch Nation by Heartstring Samplery. This got 2 days. I started this on the 19th of September 2021. I remember working on it about my birthday, so I don't know if that's just a few days there. That's where I'm at with that. So I have 4 ladies in the band at the bottom. I've charted my initials to go in. I guess I've got to rechart the year now, haven't I? Oops, hiding about. You'll see I haven't done any of the faces yet. That's because I wanted to be more diverse than what the pattern shows. So I haven't done that yet, and also I haven't done hair. So we'll see. We shall see. So that's that one. So number 8 is the Netflix and Stitch sale. I started this on the 8th of October 2021 on a 16 count. It's either 16 or 18. I did part 1, part 2, wasn't keen on part 3 but ended up stitching both of part 4, and then I stalled. I've kind of got like a rough plan in my head of what I want to do, so definitely incorporating some more of the releases, and then possibly designing a couple of my own. So I need to just get it down on paper and start looking at it and pulling the threads. It's something I want to finish next year. I don't want it hanging around. There's a few projects like that. I think I can just spend a few days on them. I'll get them done. And that's had 7 days. Some of the blocks have pretty full coverage, and other blocks aren't, like the Stranger Things one, which the husband watches and I don't. That was a bit stumped for choice. Sorry, just go off. So yeah, that's that block. But the other 3 blocks I did a full coverage. So yeah, I'm not going to abandon it. I do want to finish it. Like I say, I've got a sort of a rough plan in my head, but I just need to make it happen. So number 9 is my Christmas gingerbread village by Little Fox Stitching. I believe this is not on Etsy anymore, but I could be wrong. But Sarah started it and I want to start it. So I think we started it around the same time, which was 14th of November 2021. And I have stitched on this since you last saw it. And that's where I'm up to. Well, I think I made reference to it in my video, but I hadn't actually picked it up at that point. But there is so much white. So I've filled in the house. I think the door was part way done. The tree with the cardinal on, although the cardinal's not quite finished. Finished all the snow at the bottom. Realised I was off a stitch. I am not fixing it. Well, I think I'm going to see what it looks like, which it looks alright in camera. But this side is 1 stitch lower than the this side. So this is the first project that actually went on the Lowry stand. Yeah, really enjoyed it. But I say a lot of white. So this has had about 2,000 stitches or so since I think you last saw it. And I have worked on that for 12 days in total this year. I think I picked it up as part of Jolly July as well. So it doesn't feel like I've spent 12 days on it, so I must have, I don't know, picked it up at some point. So number 10 is Holly by Heritage Crafts. It's a John Clayton design. This is what it will look like when it's finished. This was a Christmas Day start last year. It just came off Amazon. You'll see I've not actually stitched on it at all in the year. So yeah, 0 stitches. I swapped the 14 count Ada for 18 count Ada 2/1. I'm planning to pick it up as part of Teresa Made Me Do It Sal. Because it's about the closest thing to a fancy lady that I've got. And I would like to see some progress on it. And it's got the Christmas tree in the background, so it is very much a Christmas pattern as well. So I'm hoping to get a bit more progress on that. And also scanning the chart so I can have it on my tablet as well, which I didn't have last year when I started this. Number 11 was my New Year start for this year, which was What Remains by Blackbird Designs. I've not stitched on this since the last time you saw it. but I'm doing this as part of a Mother's Love sale. So I bought the kit, sorry. So I bought it when it's a kit with threads, fabric, everything from Traditional Stitches. And that'll be to commemorate my mum. I want to get it done, like I say, the early part of this year. That was part of my plans at the end of the last video. I've got a lot of things I want to finish next year, but I feel like there's quite a few things that are close to a finish. Right, number 12, and I just realised that I've not been saying this is what it looked like a year ago, this is what it looked like 6 months ago. Obviously these ones that I've started in 2022 will only have the mid-year WIP parade. So that's the last one and this one. I don't have a cover photo for this. This was the crystallised cell by Lakeside Needlecrafts. There's going to be a lot of editing in this video. And it's on a cloudstone 28 count even weave. All the call for DMC, and it's a 12-part cell. I've only done 7, so I've got it's all fully finished now, so I just need to get on and finish it basically. And I started that on the 2nd of January and I spent 35 days on it so far. I should say sessions, not days. So number 13 is the Temperature Typography by Stitching Mummy. Still available on Etsy. And I did the varied colourway. And this is where I'm up to. I think I'm possibly missing a couple of days, but this will be finished on New Year's Eve. So that I can start the new one, which I haven't got the fabric for, but I'm not sure Lakeside will get it here in time for the 1st of January, so I will pick it up when it comes. And I showed you that in my last video as part of plans. And that one got 26 days. Right. So the next one I picked up was Embroidery for Kids Art. So it's 4 patterns that make up the start of the song. And the first one I'm doing is Bulbasaur. And I'm doing this on a 18 count Blackbird rather than the 14. It's the second time, and the first time I started I realised that my fabric was too small, and I think I picked a 16 count, so I then went and got the same size fabric but in an 18 count. So that's where I'm up to with that, and I stitched on that for 10 days and I started that on the 22nd of January. And this is the one I was stitching on yesterday, and I've done a little bit of work on it today as well. My B is off by 1 stitch, doesn't affect the design, I'm not moving it. So yeah, so that's that one. Just meant to say as well, we're through 1 tub already, so we're almost halfway through. So number 15 is my Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And this was a stitch along. It was a limited release only, so it's not available anymore, sorry. And this is where I got to with it. I'm not sure I've stitched on it since my mid-year parade, but you'll know now. I I started this on the 15th of February 2022 and it has had 4 days on it. And I've chose a 32 count opalescent. I'm not sure if that's why I just wasn't getting on with it. I'd like to get back to it. So number 16, we've passed the halfway mark, is Wild Violet Cross Stitch, Don't Fear the Reaper. And I started this as part of the March Mayhem this year with Steel City Stitches. And I'm doing it on a 14 count navy Ada. Just a scrap that I had. I've now put Sulky Slither Gold on it. I might have to take a photo of this because it is just not coming out at all. I'll see what it looks like when I'm finished. But I went to stitch on this the other night, I couldn't do it because these are the threads for it. You've got B52 500 and then you've got number, hang on a second, I know I chose 762 because I couldn't get hold of, what couldn't I get hold of? One. Maybe it's coming through now. There we go. And there you can see it. The lighting's been a bit weird, sorry. So yeah, that was a little bit darker. It is a very subtle difference, and when you're trying to stitch two almost identical colours on a dark fabric, that just isn't fun. So this is a daytime stitch only. I don't think it'll take much to get it finished, it's quite blocky. It's just sitting down and doing it. This is the Sulky Slither, and I can't remember the colourway. I can put it in the details below. And I used this when I did my retirement gift for one of the kids' teachers, and it just pulls out really easily, really easily. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. I found it before when I was doing the Darth Vader, but oh God, is it easy? Not easy guy. It's like a red, like fishing wire thing. Yeah, no, don't recommend that. Don't recommend using spare floss either, especially not when you're in the stitched area, because the WIP I inherited, which is something I'd already learned anyway, it was sewn into the stitches, making it really difficult to get it out. But I think I've managed to get most of it out, so you can't see it on the front. There might be traces of it on the back. But yes, this slither stuff, it's a bit slippery to work with, but that's good because when you get to the end, you cut it and it just pulls out. So it's well worth doing. So I'll probably use more of that in the future as well. And it is available from Lakeside Needlecrafts, or it was. I think I saw a post that, I'm not sure on it, but I suspect they said they were stopped supplying from the UK one. So it's only available from Europe, so I don't know what postage is like and things like that. I could be completely remembering that wrong. So number 17 is my Mill Hill Halloween night. This is at 5 nights, and that was also started as part of March Mayhem. I have stitched on it this October, but I'm doing it to myself again, navy on navy. Yeah, I can't remember what I stitched though. I think it was over here, it might have been all the pink. So that's where that's at. Like I said, it's had 5 days. Sorry if the lighting has changed. I've just slightly closed the curtain and pulled the switch, put the light switch on, because the sun's just coming all the way across. So hopefully it's not too dark. So the next one is Let's Do What We Love by Jeanette Douglas. This is number 18, and I started this as part of the March Mayhem as well. So I started on the 6th of March. It's had 3 days on it. I chose to do it on a 36 count. Oops, and that's my start. It's had 3 days. I think I just said that. But I know the Bougie Stitchers are doing a stitch along for this. Can't remember when it starts. So I might jump in on that and try and get a bit more progress. I think most of it is the call for, except for one colour that I couldn't get hold of. Which I can't remember which one it was. So that's my small start on that. It's only 91 by 104, so it's not a big one. It's just my eyes getting used to the size of the fabric, I think, which I'm more used to now. So number 19 is the sampler book by Erica Michaels, and so you stitch this on 13 different linens and then stitch it all together. And I have spent 7 days on this, and I started it on the 8th of April. Did you realise that says 8? No, I must have written that one. This is definitely the year, because it was Expo release. And I'm not doing it on call for or with the call for. So eventually there will be, when I finish it, a video. And that is the only page I've stitched. A and B. And for each specialty stitch, the specialty stitch is in the pattern. I have started getting ready the next page with the old way that I used to do it. So that will be C and D. I obviously haven't finished figuring out where the edges are of that one yet. My plan was to do one a month this year, like one letter a month. Just didn't happen. So we'll see. So we'll see how I get on with that next year. Number 20 is my Strawberry Fields Forever by Blackbird Designs. This is part of the Stitch Beetles with Maria Sal. So I started this back in May. I've done 4 days on it. One of my reds is not the call for, and my wool went a bit wrong, so that's not quite the right way around. Picked up the wrong thread, but it looks fine. So that's where I'm up to with that. It has called to me a couple of times, and then I've just picked something else up. So number 22 is We Remember. I obviously keep getting confused because this says Always Remember, but in my notes I've got a mixture of We Remember and Always Remember, and in my head it's Lest We Forget. So and I've stitched on this for a total of 7 days. I started this back on the 12th of May this year. And I definitely picked it up on the 11th of November as well, and I think it was probably 11th, 12th and 13th actually, which was Remembrance Sunday. So that's where I'm at with that. My plan is to change the pattern still. So instead of the eagles, I'm going to do purple poppies to represent the animals. And then I might change the wording to lest we forget. And possibly the flag to the British flag, I'm not sure. I might omit the flag altogether. So we shall see. Number 22 is Party Picnic, and that's by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Don't have a cover photo, so I'll insert one here. And this is where I'm up to, which is a bit further than I thought it was. I started this on the 19th of May and got 11 days in, and I did go to the party in the park. Sorry, it's really creased. So yeah, much further than I thought. And this is on a 32 count, 2/2. Call for DMC. So number 23, I also don't have a cover photo for, which is the MFE or Modern Folk Embroidery Pride Sale 2022, and this is where I got to with it. I started this on the 22nd of June, which is quite late actually. I spent 9 days on it. So yeah, I've done the big motif in the centre. It's a lot of colour changing. But yeah, I'd like to get it done by Pride next year. Next year. But we'll see what happens. It's on a 14 count Yorkshire Ada by Zweigart. Call for DMC. So I'm not saying this for every single one, I don't think, so if you've got any questions just pop them down below. Right, number 24, this was a Jolly July start, so 1st of July, and it's the Frosting Pumpkin Stitchery Christmas wreath, and I started this on a Zweigart, I can't remember what colourway it is, but it's that deep red. I think in my last video I was saying about the blanc and not having any, and then found 2 bobbins with it on yesterday, as well as the one I bought for the other thing that I'm kitted up. I haven't pinched them, so this is what it looks like. So yeah, quite a long way to go yet. Number 25, kind of appropriate, is Christmas List by Silver Crink Samplers. And I'm doing this on a 36 count vintage country mocha. I've definitely, no, I haven't stitched anymore since you last saw it actually. I think I was going to finish this off and didn't. Could be wrong, but it's definitely had a lot more progress since June. In fact, it wasn't even started in June, so this is what I've done in the last 6 months. And it's almost a page finished, apart from that mountain. And that's on with the call for DMC. So number 26 is Stitch's RSVP, which is part of a sale. Can't remember. I think it's part of the I'm Not Coming sale. And this is by Posy. I swear there's AliciaPoulson.com. This, I think it's still available. Not quite the call for DMC in places, just because it blended into the fabric, which is an Edinburgh 36 count. And I can't remember the name of the fabric. I think it's smoky blue or I can't remember. And the reason I put this down was the 1/1 on 36 count, which I'm not sure you can even see. So I've done the L, that's 2 over 2, and then almost finished Listen, which I cannot see in the camera, so I'm hoping you can see it at home. My house is too high, so I've had to move the wording up slightly. Yeah, so I think my plan is to make the path a bit longer. Yeah, so there's a bit of fudging in there. I've still got to fill in these bits up here. Can't remember what else there is to do. But yeah, a lot of 1 over 1 in this section. It'll get finished at some point, probably over the summer. I can't imagine I'm going to finish it while we're on very limited light at the minute. So number 27, that's my first hay. This is Beach Bliss. Artwork by Amy Stewart. I had that in my head, but it just, yeah, didn't come out. And this is the Story Keep size. And I started this with Cardiff Stitcher. I'm blanking on the name, so apologies. Danielle. I've started this a couple of times. So my current position is 1 over 1 on 28 count using the Royal Rose method, and you can see I've only done 1 column. I was missing a colour. I've now got the colour, but I haven't put it in, and I haven't moved on to the next row. Further down here there is some more stitching. I'm not even sure it's at 1%. I probably will pick this up at some point, I'm not sure when. I'm not sure full coverage is my thing, but we'll see. I might get into it next year, I don't know. So yeah, measly start. If I can just unravel the bottom, I'll show you. There's a bit more on the bottom than there is on the top. That's when I realised I wanted to do it 1 over 1 and not 2 over. Yeah, 1 over 1 full cross. I think I tried it a few different ways. That's the bit at the bottom. That was just colour filling, picking a colour and just going everywhere with it. That wasn't working for me, and then I knew if I tried the Royal Rose method I needed the columns, so I'd literally counted all the way up. I think I did try 2 over 2 tent stitch. I didn't like that. Was it 2 over 2 28? Can't remember. I tried a few different ways until I found one that worked, and then put it down. So it's tight on the margins, which I'm fine with. Like I say, it's my first Haid. I've got another Haid, but it's just a chart, which is Stormy. I can't remember who it's by. I'll put a picture in. They're the only 2 I've got, and like I say, I'm currently not inclined to buy any more. There are other things I want to stitch, but when it takes me, and that was my first Q snap. Sorry as well. Stitch 4 in the Call 4 DMC. Was started 16th of July and it's had 7 days on it. Although I feel like it should be more. Oh no, 20th of August and it's had 5 days on it. I think there was probably 5 long days because that's when I was off work with the broken foot, so I probably had quite a lot of time on it. Next one's a Secret Stitch, which I could technically finish this year, but I want to finish it next year, so I've stopped on that. So number 29 is Friends Quotes by Stitch Area on Etsy. Not done any more work on this since you last saw it. That's where it's at. 16 count Ada. Call for DMC. Last time I said about the colour difference in there. I'm not sure you're picking up on camera, but in real life you can. Still haven't decided what I'm doing with that yet. So number 30, and my last new start of this year, is Opening Cabinet by Long Dog Samplers. This is on a 36 count Edinburgh linen white, and I'm using Country Cottage Needlework, Country Cottage Threads ampersand for this. 1/2, and that's where I've got to. And like I said, I've used that sulky slither again, and it is quite big actually, but I'm loving like the coverage and the colour variation. Oops, it's upside down. See, that's how roughly how big it will be. I think it's slightly smaller because I've done it to the page guide like that, grid lines. And I've left myself plenty of border for framing as well. I do have 2 other WIPs, but they're for Love Quilts. Love Quilts UK, so I'm not going to show those, but there's not any progress since my last video. My intention, especially with one, is to show it when it's finished, and then I need to check the measurements of it because they changed the measurements of the blocks, so I need to check that that's okay. And then the sale that's going on now, which I think I've just had another release for, so I've not even finished part 1 yet because I've still got to finish the back stitch on. I think they're now on part 4. I'll catch up eventually. I think they're a bit worried they were going to get quite a lot of unicorn sales all in at once, but I think the way we all stitch is different. So some people are keeping really up to with it, some people haven't even started it, and I'm in that band of I've done most of part 1, not anymore. So that is me, and if you've stuck around to the end, I would like to do my first giveaway, which will be a e-card gift card to the value of £25. So, and I think there's quite a lot of US people on here, so £25 or $25, and I can do it on Etsy, 123 Stitch. The code word is Stitcher. So yeah, spelt like that. And I will draw that. I think I'll leave it running until the end of January, so whichever my next video is after the end of January, I will pull them then. Don't use code words like giveaway, win, all of those words. Please be 18 so I don't need to ask for your address, but I need your email address, so I think this will need to be 18. So yeah, Stitcher. And this is the lovely T-Mill Mama Loves You GB jumper in red. I bought for myself in December. Needed some jumpers. I decided to splash out and get one. Eventually it came via Royal Mail, and I said, I'm just going to leave it until after Christmas. We'll keep wearing my Christmas jumpers for now. So thank you for joining me for my 1 year anniversary, which is also my annual WIP parade. I'm hoping to make a finishes parade as well. I've gathered up most of the bits of that. Some will be photos because I've gifted them already. And then my chatelaine will start on the 1st of January, and I keep looking down because it's behind the camera and I still haven't recorded the video. So I'm going to go and grab a drink. So you might see me in the same outfit for one of the other videos. Bye for now. Thank you.